Hey, what is going on, guys? So you'll have to excuse me. I'm sorry once again for the audio on my phone. I keep talking about that because I have to wait until I get a new phone. I have about another month and a half to 2 months until I get a new phone. So my newest videos, about 2 months from now, from whichever reviews I choose to do, or whichever reviews I have, they won't have this weird audio problem like it's been having. So once again, I apologize for that. But what I have here is the Syma X5C1, which is actually pretty funny because it's actually one of the most popular quadcopters on Amazon. But the funny thing is I didn't purchase the X5C1. I actually purchased the X5C for around $45, and I got this in the mail. And I looked at it and I thought, well, why does it say -1? Well, I went onto my Amazon reviews or my Amazon purchases, and I actually did order the X5C. But the X5C1 costs a little bit more, so I don't know why they sent this to me. Maybe it was an accident, or maybe they just was being nice. Or maybe they were out of the X5C, I don't know. But to tell you the truth, I really don't know what the upgraded version means. I don't know what the -1 is, because everything on this seems to be the exact same as the X5C. But I want to start by saying I purchased this along with a couple of Holy Stone 650 batteries. The battery that it comes with is a 500 milliamp hour battery, and I have it in there right now, I think. Yeah, it's in there right now. And then I have about a 2-pack of the Holy Stone 650s. However, there's a little bit of a problem with the 650s. The Holy Stone 650 batteries, they're supposed to be for the X5C, which is pretty much the exact same thing as the X5C1, so it doesn't really matter. The voltage is the same. Everything's the exact same. Why is it not focusing? But the only problem with these batteries is it's a really tight fit. I have a hard time getting these in here. You slide it in there. You really have to force it in there, kind of. And I guess because it's so large, the battery carrier is really only designed for a 500. The extra capacity, making the battery a little bit larger, has a hard time fitting in there. So when you stick it in there, you really kind of got to force it in there. I kind of don't like that because these things are not the most highest quality quadcopters in the world. They're definitely cheaply made, but they're fantastic quadcopters for the cost. So if you do happen to get one of these and you get a couple extra batteries, I would recommend not buying 650s. You can if you want, but it is a hard time. I have a hard time getting it in there. Not saying these are bad batteries. The Holy Stone batteries are fantastic batteries. These things actually do give this thing about a 2 or 3 minute more, 2 or 3 minute longer flight time. But if Holy Stone makes some 500s, I would recommend getting the 500s instead. The extra battery life is great, the extra fly time, but it's not worth trying to force that battery in there. So, all right, so here's the transmitter. Nice little 2.4 gigahertz transmitter. The control distance on this says it's about 100 meters, but it starts to kind of wig out after about 150 feet. About 150 feet, it starts wigging out and wanting to go different directions. So last I checked, 100 meters is over 300 feet. So definitely not accurate on that, but it doesn't really matter. This thing's pretty fast, I have to say. The thing is relatively quick for a larger quadcopter. It does the tricks. It does all that cool 3D or flipping stuff, but I don't even do that because I don't like flipping these things. I just like flying them and racing them and going fast in them. So, all right, so apparently one of the most common problems on these quadcopters is the motors burning out. So I haven't had any problems with these motors yet, but I have seen a lot of reviews on Amazon of these things randomly just burning out. One of the biggest things that causes these motors to burn out is if you get it, smack it up against a tree or a wall or something, and the propellers are still spinning, and it's kind of wedged up against the wall. And those motors really have no place to go, easily burning out these motors very quick. That's what happened to my JJRC H20. It's a hexacopter, and the front right motor just burned out. So now we're operating on 5 motors, which doesn't fly very good, so I'm going to have to buy another motor for that. But these things do burn out relatively quick. They don't have all the same technology that those Walkura and Align and Phantoms have, where they have this technology which stops the motor, it shuts it off immediately. So if you get it wedged up against the wall, obviously to shut the throttle down as quick as you possibly can, it'll save your motor. So the quadcopter does have a 720p HD camera, but like I said, some of these things I don't even use. I don't use the flip thing, and I don't even use the camera. The camera button on this is down, or camcorder, I guess. Record is down, photo is up, but I've yet to try it out. I don't really do the whole video footage thing unless it's a high-dollar quadcopter, a high-dollar drone like the DJI Phantom or something like that. But the video quality on these is just not that good. It's not even worth using, to tell you the truth. So, okay, so one thing I will say is there's a specific reason why the Syma brand is a fantastic brand, why the X5C happens to be one of the most popular, cheaper quadcopters on the market. This thing is very stable. It flies great. It's very, very stable. It holds right where it's supposed to be. You can actually, as soon as you trim it out and you set the throttle to exactly where you want to put it, you can actually put the transmitter down. It'll hover right there for a good 20, 30 seconds until it kind of slowly starts to drift off. But I will say that this thing is extremely stable, no problems there. Alright, so of course it does come with the propeller guards, but like I've told you before in some of my other previous videos, I hate propeller guards. I think they look stupid, so I leave them off all the time. I'd rather break the propeller or damage the, you know, I'd rather damage the propeller than worry about those propeller guards. I just don't like them. I think they're like training wheels for people that fly quadcopters. I don't like the way they look. They look stupid. So, if you do like those propeller guards and you think you're going to need them, there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. But me, I don't know. They're like training wheels to me. Alright, so one thing that some people don't normally ask, but it is good to know. This thing is actually very tough, very durable for being as cheap as it is and as flimsy, plasticky as it is. Because, as you can see, little LEDs down here. You got 2 on the front, or 2 on the back, and 2 in the front. I slammed this thing into the curb super fast. I don't know how fast I was going. I was pretty much on the high setting. And I looked at this thing about 2 hours later and realized that these 2 things were missing. So, and I remember slamming it in backwards into the wall. So that's probably what happened. This thing probably goes to speeds of probably 25 miles an hour, 20, 25 miles an hour. That's pretty good for something, you know, like this. So I'll tell you one thing. I do wish that the Syma X5C1 or X5C transmitter had an illuminating display on there like the X-Drone does. You have this. Oh, I took the batteries out. Never mind. Keep in mind that these don't work right. Whenever you go out of range with this quadcopter, this little signal bar stays where it's at all the time, and the battery thing doesn't really work much either. I stuck some dead batteries in there that came from my other transmitter, and I knew they were dead, obviously, and this battery bar was still all the way up. So that's not very accurate, and neither is the signal bar. When this thing starts going out of range and starts wigging out and crashing into stuff, this signal bar stays right where it's at. So I don't know why this is on there, maybe just for decoration. Alright, so there will be some people that tell you probably if you purchase one of these, well, you should probably register this on the FAA website. No, you don't have to register this on the FAA website. You do not have to register any of these cheaper ones that just don't fly that high of an altitude. Not that I know of. I mean, I'm pretty sure you don't. Now, remember, I have no facts against that, but I will tell you that there's just no way you have to register this. This is $40, $45. Now, you have something like the DJI Phantom or the Inspire or the Phantom 4. Yeah, you gotta register those, but not this. You don't have to register this. So don't be going on the FAA website and spending an hour and a half trying to figure out how to register the Syma X5C, because I guarantee nobody's done it, this thing. But just so you know, it's obviously pretty easy to link these things up. Oops, here, I'll show you again. You pretty much know how to do that. You just push up on the throttle, back down, and it's already there. Just in case if I get this question, no, you can't put a GoPro camera on here. It's not powerful enough. You can't lift up a GoPro camera. It'll probably lift it up, but it probably won't go very high. All right, so I hope a good friend of mine isn't watching this, because he's actually got one of these, but he's got a Sharper Image brand. And the one thing you don't want to do is something that he does. I hope he's not watching this, but if he is, I'm sorry. But you never want to take this thing off when it's dead, to stick it on the charger and leave it on the charger for, 15, 20, 25 minutes, and then pull it off and plug it back in and start flying it. You need to plug this thing in and let it charge fully before you start flying this thing. Lithium polymer batteries and lithium ion batteries, they don't develop much of a memory like, nickel cadmium or some parts of nickel metal hydride, but it still shouldn't do that to your battery. Lithium ion, lithium polymer, they can handle that a little bit more, but it's still for longevity of the battery. Just make sure it's fully charged before you take it off and start flying it. Some people don't do that.